evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories and big developments that happened in the day, of course, were happening in Bihar, where there's political crisis that's happening. We'll be talking about that with a special guest, as well as all the other big stories that happened through the day. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. No end to power tussle in Bihar. Manji expelled from JDU but remains defiant. Nitish Kumar stakes claim to form a government. All new names added to the list of Indians with accounts in HSBC Geneva to be probed, assures Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, as the opposition demands action beyond words. All the preps are in place at 14 centres for counting of votes for the Delhi Assembly elections. That happens tomorrow morning. And even amid renewed clashes in Ukraine between troops and pro-Russian rebels, top world leaders agree to meet for a push for revival of a peace deal. Top story right now. Bihar Chief Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi remained defiant on Monday, even as he refused to step down as Chief Minister. The JDU, on the other hand, had to expel him from the party with immediate effect. Nitish Kumar also staked claim to form the government as he met the state governor twice in the day.
The power tussle intensified in Bihar, with Jitan Ram Manjhi refusing to step down and make way for Nitish Kumar as Chief Minister. Manjhi met Governor K.N. Tripathi and sought 2 weeks' time to prove his majority.
हमने उनसे कहा कि आपके विवेक पर है हुजूर, सबसे पहले है कि वो नेता तो चुने गए, वो गलत नेता चुने गए हैं, असंवैधानिक है। जहां तक जिस दिन आप कह दीजिए, अब हम आपके ऊपर छोड़ देते हैं कि कब आप हमारी शक्ति परीक्षण की बात करते हैं या बहुमत साबित करने की बात करते हैं, आप हमको यही खाली बता दीजिए और हम यही कहना चाहते हैं कि सीक्रेट बैलेट से वोटिंग हो।
Earlier in the day, Nitish Kumar also met the governor at the Raj Bhavan to stake claim to form the government. Accompanying him were 130 MLAs, the JDU President Sharad Yadav and RJD counterpart Lalu Prasad. They included MLAs from the RJD, Congress, the CPI and also an independent.
Immediately 24 घंटा में 48 घंटा में इस तरह का काम कर लें, हम लोगों को मौका देंगे। आप जितने समय में कहेंगे उतने समय में बहुमत सिद्ध कर देंगे सदन के अंदर भी। अगर अवसर नहीं मिलता है और टाल मटोल की कोई कार्रवाई किसी भी कारण से, किसी भी परिस्थिति में, दबाव में या जिस कारण से भी होता है, वैसी स्थिति में ये हम सब लोगों का निर्णय है कि इसके बाद हम लोग जो हमारे बहुमत विधायकों की संख्या है उसको दिल्ली में आदरणीय राष्ट्रपति जी के समक्ष हम लोग उसको प्रदर्शित कर देंगे।
The JDU also hit out at the BJP for what it called orchestrating the crisis in Bihar. The party alleged that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had himself blessed the revolt against Nitish Kumar.
सारा खेल बीजेपी का है, बीजेपी के ही इशारे पर सारा घृणित काम हो रहा है।
BJP and its top leaders from the center as well as from the state, they were engaged on a daily basis to thwart the democratic process, democratic aspirations in Bihar.
Meanwhile, the BJP kept its cards close, refusing to divulge its position on backing Manjhi. The party, however, did express confidence that Manjhi will prove his majority.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी इन सारे विषय पर मुख्य विपक्षी दल के नाते नजर बनाए हुए है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी ये मानती है कि ये संविधान की रोशनी में इस पर निर्णय होगा।
Both Manjhi and Nitish need at least 122 MLAs to prove majority. 24 MLAs from the RJD and 5 from the Congress are rallying behind Nitish Kumar, while the support of 111 JDU legislators is divided between the current and former chief ministers. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And to help us understand the present crisis in terms of politics in Bihar, we have with us JP Yadav, special correspondent of The Telegraph, who joins us in the studio. JP, it's quite unbecoming of politics or of chief ministers. I mean, Manjhi remaining completely defiant and Nitish Kumar grappling with a lot. But in terms of the technicalities of the matter, how does that stand right now?
Technically, I don't think the constitution is too clear, but in terms of majority, the governor has to see the majority where the majority lies, and in this case it's quite clear the majority is with Nitish Kumar. But politics as it plays out, since he is not willing to step down despite being reduced in minority, so naturally there will be a lot of politics being played, and the role of the BJP, which is the principal opposition party, becomes very important. How it, whether it backs Manjhi or not, whether it has assured Manjhi if he comes for a floor test, if the governor gives him the opportunity to have a floor test, then whether the BJP supports him or not, there the crucial key lies there. Because Manjhi on his own, he cannot bank on mere JDU MLA support, because most of he knows that majority is with majority of them are on Nitish's side.
Right.
He has some MLAs with him, he has some ministers with him, but it's a complex game, and everybody is waiting and watching. Presently the ball is in the governor's court, what decision he takes, how he goes about it, and how things pan out, what role the BJP plays vis-a-vis Manjhi's defiance to stay on, that has to be seen.
All right, now let's also try to understand the politics behind this. The Bihar, of course, will be going to the polls later this year, and the caste calculus is very important in Bihar, and that is perhaps the main determining factor for Jitendra Manjhi to go all out against his party.
Yes, caste is a big factor, and that's why the JDU was going one step forward, two step backward. They were really in a bind how to go about, how to remove Manjhi, because they know the repercussions in a sensitive, caste sensitive state like Bihar. Removing Manjhi would be not cost them politically also. So caste is a great factor there. So the BJP is also trying to play their balls rightly, because in the caste dynamics of Bihar, this Mahadalit, the Nitish has nursed this constituency very well and carved out a vote bank out of it, a strong support base out of it. And now if Manjhi revolts, Manjhi on his own has managed to exploit this opportunity.
Does he have popular support there on the ground, Manjhi?
I believe so. I believe so. In a section of Mahadalits, he does aspire. He is an aspirational. He has made people aspire for and carved out a vote bank for himself, and he does have a connect, and naturally he is going to harm the JDU if he comes out in the open, the manner in which he is speaking now. Mahadalit is being insulted, the very marginalized people who never get to get that top seat in politics. I was given that opportunity, and I am being insulted and pushed out in such a manner. So naturally, it's a sensitive matter, and everything has to be seen. The BJP will naturally try to cash in. They are the principal opposition, so it is their job also to cash in on this opportunity. But the BJP so far hasn't taken a clear stand whether it will support Manjhi or not. If they support Manjhi, then you could see a dramatic change in the scenario could also occur in Bihar. More JDU MLAs could cross over to Manjhi's side in the hope of becoming ministers.
Right.
Genuinely, only if the BJP comes out clearly, not in otherwise. Otherwise, they feel that they are safer with Nitish.
All right, so the BJP has to take a call. The governor, of course, has to take a call, and all eyes on what the governor has to say. But thank you very much, JP Yadav, for coming in and helping us understand the politics of Bihar a little better. Well, moving on now, the centre says it has started legal proceedings against 60 entities with black money in illegal foreign accounts. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said new names have been added to the list, as reported by the Indian Express, would be investigated as part of an expansive inquiry. Though he cautioned that not all of these accounts may be illegal ones.
Vigorous steps are on to unearth black money stashed overseas. That's the government's promise. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley asserted that the Revenue Department has completed assessment of 350 foreign accounts which are under the suspicion of squirreling black money.
350 के करीब की असेसमेंट पूरी हो चुकी है। बाकियों की असेसमेंट जो है वो 31 मार्च 2015 तक पूरी हो जाएगी।
Jaitley added that the government was not in the dark about revelations made by the Indian Express. The report, based on leaks from HSBC's Swiss banking unit, mentions some 1195 Indians with bank accounts in HSBC Geneva and also discloses their balances for the year 2006-2007. The total balance from over 200 countries is over $100 billion. In the Indian context, new additions include prominent corporate leaders, diamond traders, politicians and NRIs. Jaitley stressed, however, that just names were not enough to initiate legal action.
आज जो डिटेल्स आई हैं इसमें अधिकतर नाम वही हैं जो भारत सरकार के पास या रेवेन्यू विभाग के पास पहले से हैं। सवाल नामों का नहीं है, नामों के साथ साथ उन नामों के अकाउंट्स की एविडेंस।
The Special Investigation Team, the SRT, probing the issue met today to discuss status of cases of Indians with illegal holdings abroad. The team's head assured proper verification and legal action wherever required.
We have to go through the names, we have to find out how much amount is less there, and action will be taken.
The Indian Express report has reviewed the political storm on the black money issue. Nearly 9 months into the new government, opposition parties seek definitive answers against promises.
All these fat cats have been traditional cheerleaders of the current government. So would the Prime Minister now stand up and speak, assure the nation that he will honor his campaign promise?
Enough of rhetorics, enough of demagogy. Now what people want is action. What action the government is going to take?
Indian law states that merely holding an account overseas cannot be construed as illegal. What is prosecutable is money undisclosed to Indian tax authorities and salted away without it being taxed. The new disclosures bring back the spotlight to an issue long awaiting action. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And you can watch a detailed discussion on the road ahead on the black money issue immediately after this news bulletin on the big picture. That's at 6:30 p.m. and it will be replayed again at 9:30 p.m. Come Tuesday, and all eyes will be on the counting of votes for the Delhi Assembly polls. Counting of votes is set to begin at 8 a.m. with the final picture likely to become quite clear by noon. Now, tight security arrangements have been made at all 14 counting centres. So let's get you a lowdown of the preparations.
Tuesday promises to be nothing short of a thriller for Delhiites, with the results of voting being declared after a short but aggressive campaign. Counting of votes will begin at 8 a.m. at 14 counting centres spread across the city. Postal ballots are set to be counted first. The counting of data stored in the nearly 28,000 electronic voting machines, which were deployed at 12,177 polling stations, will start after that around 8:30 a.m. The Election Commission has so far received 44,000 postal ballots.
स्पेशल प्रोविजन के तहत मतगणना से पहले ये सारे के सारे पोस्ट बैलेट पेपर काउंटिंग सेंटर पहुंच जाएंगे। तो 500 के आसपास, क्योंकि अभी हमारे करीब 44,000 के आसपास पोस्टल बैलेट रिसीव हुए हैं, कल तक आ जाएंगे। करीब 60,000 तक यदि हो जाते हैं तो 70 असेंबलीज हैं हमारी, तो सबसे पहले असेंबली वाइज उनको शॉर्टिंग करके पहली काउंटिंग पोस्टल बैलेट की जाती है।
Delhi turned out in record numbers for voting on Saturday. Over 67% of the electorate exercised its franchise. The Delhi Election Commission has made elaborate security arrangements at all counting centres. There is 3-tier security in place to protect the EVMs that have been kept in strong rooms inside the counting centres. The security is the responsibility of the paramilitary force, armed police and Delhi police.
उसमें 3 लेयर सिक्योरिटी तो है, पूरा फुल प्रूफ सिस्टम होता है। उसके बाद जहाँ आपकी हमारी मशीनें हैं स्ट्रांग रूम के अंदर, वो पूरा सिक्योर्ड एरिया है। वहाँ पर बिना आई कार्ड के या बिना ऑथोराइज्ड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव के नॉट ए सिंगल पर्सन इज अलाउड टू एंटर।
There are 63 women candidates in this election as against 71 in 2013. The number of candidates from recognized national and state parties is 296, while 183 candidates belong to registered parties and there are 194 independent candidates. With inputs from Anu Diwan, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, repoll was today held at 2 booths for the Delhi Assembly after irregularities were found in the electronic voting machines. Voting took place at booth number 31 in Delhi Cantonment, where poll officers forgot to delete mock poll data. In booth number 132 in Rohtas Nagar, problems were reported in the EVM. Polling remained largely peaceful in both these areas. The voter turnout was 67.14 was recorded in the Delhi Assembly polls on Saturday. Well, we'll take a very quick break right now, but still to come on the other side. The Indo-Pak bus service between Srinagar and Muzaffarabad has been suspended over an alleged smuggling incident. Fighting flares up again on the international border. More on that on the other side.
money. New names, new dimensions, new challenges for the government and courts. What's the road ahead?
7 प्रोसिक्यूशन लॉन्च हुए। प्रोसिक्यूशन जब लॉन्च होती है इन्वेस्टिगेशन समाप्त करने पर तो वो फिर सार्वजनिक हो जाता है।
Watch the big picture at 6:30 and 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Singapore President Tony Tan Keng Yam on Monday. Yam is on a 4-day visit to India to commemorate the 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Singapore and India are looking at in-house cooperation in trade in areas like promoting investment, smart cities and skill development.
Singapore President Tony Keng Yam has begun his 4-day state visit to India. The Singapore leader was given a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan by President Pranab Mukherjee and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. After brief pleasantries, Yam took the salute and inspected the guard of honor. This was followed by a wreath-laying ceremony at Rajghat. In a statement, the Ministry of External Affairs said, and I quote, "This is President Tan's first state visit to India and will showcase our long-standing and strong relations with India as we commemorate the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Singapore in 2015." Unquote. The Singapore President met with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. After the meeting, MEA spokesperson Syed Akbaruddin tweeted, "India-Singapore discuss an agenda of development, skill development, connectivity in Northeast India primary focus." And another tweet saying, "India-Singapore ties expanding in all directions. Prime Minister Modi meets President Tony Tan Keng Yam." Singapore is one of India's major trade and investment partners, with bilateral trade for the financial year 2013-14 standing at $19.27 billion. Singapore also emerged as the largest source of FDI into India in 2013-14, with $5.98 billion, accounting for about 25% of FDI inflows. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
India's growth rate as measured by the gross domestic product is estimated to grow by 7.4% in 2014-2015. Data released by the Central Statistical Organization today indicated that domestic economy picked up momentum after growing at a revised figure of 6.9% in the fiscal 2013-14. Now, the CSO has had earlier revised the methodology under which GDP is calculated at market prices instead of factor costs. Further, the government also shifted the base year from 2004-2005 to 2011-12. According to an old formula, India's GDP grew at 4.7% in 2013-14, and according to the Reserve Bank's forecast, GDP growth was estimated to inch to 5.5%. The rapid sell-off in the stock markets in the afternoon session pulled the BSE Sensex nearly 500 points down, with the broader Nifty slipping below the psychological 8,550 levels. Markets recorded a 7th straight day of losses as exit polls predicted that the Aam Aadmi Party would likely get a majority in the Delhi Assembly elections. At close, the BSE Sensex reported a fall of 490 points to 28,227, and the NSE Nifty had recorded a fall of 135 points to 8,526. The Pakistan Rangers shelled 8 border outposts in Jammu and Kashmir all through last night. Many houses were damaged and a villager was injured. Authorities in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir also suspended the Srinagar and Muzaffarabad bus service after a driver from their side was arrested for trying to smuggle narcotics. The arrested man is a resident of Muzaffarabad. A local trader who was receiving the consignment was also taken into custody. Meanwhile, even as the BSF retaliated the Pakistani firing, the Rangers of the Pakistan near the border demanded that the government make arrangements for their safety. Now, with renewed clashes in Ukraine, top international leaders are planning to a face-to-face meeting for fresh peace talks. Leaders from Russia, Ukraine, Germany and France have been negotiating over the phone during the last week, but they will meet in Belarus on Wednesday. However, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll meet them only if both sides move closer to an agreement.
Residents fleeing from the border towns amid escalating fighting between the Ukrainian government troops and pro-Russian rebels.
Вот так и отопление отключили. Уже здесь постоим 12 часов. Может, прорвемся в Россию. Там нас обогреет уже.
Бомбят. Бомбят вот и едут. Как шарахнуло. Испугались. Куда деваться? Жить-то хочется.
Ukraine is moving its tank to the besieged border town, where military officials said pro-Russians are amassing forces for a fresh attack.
Зіткнень, вогневих зіткнень немає, але обстріл є. Мінометний обстріл двох позицій вже був, одну позицію градами покрили. Слава Богу, втрат нема, але досить таки важко. Важко, але тримаємося.
On the diplomatic front, a blame game is raging. Russian President Vladimir Putin is holding the West responsible for the escalating crisis. Although there is still hope for a peace deal when the top leaders from Ukraine, Russia, France and Germany meet in Belarus on Wednesday.
И в Париже, в так называемом нормандском формате, мы договорились о том, что постараемся организовать встречу в таком же формате между...
He will come to a point where he realizes the damage he is doing is not just to the global order and the process, but he is doing enormous damage to Russia itself.
We are united. We are united when it comes to support to Ukraine, which is something badly needed. We are united when it comes to economic pressure, and we are united also on the definition of the need to have a political dialogue, first of all.
Attempts to reach a ceasefire have so far failed miserably because of the mudslinging between the Ukraine and Russian mediators. The fighting has been almost non-stop ever since September, when a peace agreement crumbled. The big challenge for Russia, Ukraine, Germany and France is to agree on one that will stick. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Amid an escalating crisis in the Yemen, political factions have agreed to resume talks to resolve the issue. The UN Special Envoy said all sides agreed to take part in the national dialogue that starts today. Houthis are also expected to participate in the talk. Earlier on Saturday, Shiite Houthi rebels staged a coup and dissolved the parliament to form a new government. However, Houthi leader Abdel Malik al-Houthi said he is open to all parties playing a role in the country's future. Well, let's take a look at all the international news in Global Buzz. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott survived a confidence vote challenging his leadership. His ruling Liberal Party voted down a motion to unseat him after weeks of infighting. In a secret ballot, a vote to declare the positions of party leader and deputy leader vacant was defeated by 61 to 39 votes. The leadership test initiated on Friday came after a series of policy missteps by Abbott that saw his popularity tumble. Egyptian authorities suspended Football League matches indefinitely after clashes in a stadium in Cairo killed 22 people. People were crushed after police fired tear gas at supporters of Zamalek, who were trying to force their way for a match against city rivals ENPEI. The fans blamed authorities for only opening one single gate. The bodies of 3 Chinese people killed in a Taiwan plane crash on the 4th of February were repatriated to China today. Officials said the remains of 3 victims, accompanied by relatives, departed for Fujian's province, Xiamen, Taiwan's Taoyuan airport. At least 40 people were killed, 15 survived and 3 are still missing. Among the 53 passengers, 31 were Chinese tourists and 22 were Taiwanese. British soul singer Sam Smith won 4 Grammy Awards at the 57th Grammy Awards ceremony in Los Angeles on Sunday. The 22-year-old English soul singer crowned his breakthrough into the top ranks by winning 4 awards, including Best Newcomer, Best Song and Best Record for Stay With Me, and Best Pop Vocal Album for his debut in The Lonely Hour. Now the sporting action from the 35th National Games. The National Games village in Thiruvananthapuram has proved to be a hit among the participating athletes. Beautifully aligned traditional housing units stand amidst glimpses of Kerala's culture. The village has all essential facilities like banks, fitness centre and food court. In the women's light 60 kg weight category, Delhi recorded a win over Punjab. Delhi's Geeta Solanki made a win over her Punjab opponent Priyanka Thakur by points in round 2. While in the 75 kg category, Andhra Pradesh defeated Madhya Pradesh in round 1. In the men's light fly 49 kg boxing event, Jammu Kashmir's Pradeep Sharma knocked out his West Bengal counterpart Mazhar Hussain. Pradeep beat Mazhar 10-18 in the first round and went on to win the later rounds. In the men's basketball prelim event, Kerala recorded a win over Chhattisgarh. Kerala beat Chhattisgarh 79-57. Let's take a look at the medal tally of the games so far. The services SCB continues to dominate the games, having bagged 48 gold medals, way ahead of Maharashtra, which is in second place. Haryana has fallen behind Maharashtra slightly and ranked third. Both have 27 gold medals each though. Host Kerala is at fourth spot with 16 golds and a total of 56 medals. Well, that's it from us. Goodbye.